Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about thrifting. Specifically, we're going to be talking about what we want to thrift in 2026. How exciting!
Well, hello. I didn't think it was really necessary for me to make a thrifting wish list video this year, mostly because I don't really need more stuff, but also because I feel like my taste hasn't really changed in the last year. However, upon further reflection, I've actually come up with quite a few specific things that I am actually on the hunt for. So without further ado, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 2026 thrift wish list. Look how organized I am, guys. I got a list that I actually wrote down and isn't just swirling around my noggin. So the first category we're going to be going over is clothes and accessories. Now, I'm normally someone who doesn't look at shoes at the thrift store very often. I tend to wear the same shoes over and over. I'm pretty basic, and also I like to invest my money into high quality shoes that I can then wear over and over and over again without them falling apart. However, there are a few pieces that I am going to be keeping an eye out this year. First of all, I want to look for tapestry boots, specifically ones that kind of have a more jewel toned or darker colorway. There is a specific pair of boots that keeps popping up on my feed, and they are a current style, so the chances of me actually finding them at the thrift store, astronomical. But I will be keeping an eye on secondhand websites like Depop, Poshmark, Mercari, because they're actually out of my size on the website, and that is these red tapestry Jeffrey Campbell boots. I believe they're Jeffrey Campbell. I tried to find it on my Pinterest board earlier today when I was preparing for this video. Couldn't find it, so that's editing Scotty's problem. But even with those specific boots in mind, I will also be looking out for boots of a similar vibe. And look at that, I have a second pair of shoes on my list. So a lot of people have been reminiscing about 2016 and just feeling really nostalgic about the past. So I took that as an opportunity to scroll through my fashion Pinterest board, because I have been pinning to the same fashion board since like 2012, and I made it all the way back to 2013 and 2014. So it's not 2016 that I'm feeling nostalgic for. I feel like my style wasn't that great in 2016. No, it was 2013, 2014, and there was a specific pair of boots, or I don't really know what they're really classified. They're like cutout buckle boots that I had in that era, and it was because of Pinterest. Mind you, I got the cheaper version. I got the Chic Wish, but the specific boot is by, I think it's another Jeffrey Campbell actually. But there's another brand too, and I can't remember what it is, that also has a similar pair. I'm not sure, but all I know is I have been scouring the net trying to find these boots, and I haven't been able to find them in my size, so I will be keeping an eye out. The pair that I had, since they were cheaper, they did fall apart, but what I really like about them is they're kind of a cross between a boot and a sandal, because they have like the cutouts. But I feel like this is a nice happy medium for like the springtime / autumn when it's not too cold. But as I was scrolling through that particular section of my Pinterest board, I also was reminiscing about other styles that I was really into around that time. I was really into like black skinny jeans and leather jackets. I was like trying to be hardcore. I was going to lots of concerts. I was kind of in like my grunge / emo era, my second emo era in my lifetime. And so I wanted to bust out my old leather jacket. And so I went into my closet only to find that it was falling apart, because she was pleather. Vegan leather might have a nice ring to it, a nice ethical sound, but that stuff does not last, and even if you don't wear it, it falls apart. So unfortunately, I had to discard that particular piece. So then I went on the journey to find a real black leather jacket, and I actually found one. So this isn't something that I'm looking for currently, because I already found it, and that one is by Michael Kors. However, this has also inspired me to keep an eye out for a brown equivalent of that, because I used to be someone that preferred black over brown, but I'm kind of in the middle now. I will wear black and brown, and I'll mix them together. So just for the sake of covering my bases, I wouldn't mind finding a brown leather jacket. I did almost find one at a vintage store. It technically wasn't vintage, but it was a good quality brand. I think it was like Guess or something. But then I read the label and it wasn't real leather, and I was like, and it felt like real leather. It fooled me. But I didn't want to invest $60 in a used jacket that wasn't real leather. That's not going to last me my entire lifetime. So I passed on it. So I'm still on the hunt for a brown leather jacket, like real leather that's gonna last. Also, we're still on the 2013, 2014 train. I was super into, again, black skinny jeans, but specifically ones with zipper details. I may not go the skinny jean route. I mean, I am someone who loves leggings, so it's not about the fit or how it looks, but I think it's more about comfortability. Is that a word? I know jeggings are a thing, which are very comfortable. My problem is, back in that time when I was wearing a lot of black jeggings, certain areas would stretch out over time and look not very flattering, and you would get weird stretch marks. So I want to find some black, maybe straight leg cotton jeans with zipper details to kind of pay homage to that era in my life, because I felt like it was badass and it was a cool time. Was my mental health in the gutter around that time because I was working nonstop and clopening all the time? Shout out to the worst time in my life, working at Starbucks. Yes, but the style was cool. I'm not gonna chop my hair off like I did back then. I have considered dyeing it darker though. Anyways, we're gonna move on from the time machine. And, well, actually, so around that time, I was going to a lot of concerts because I was in my early 20s. I was moved out. I could do what I wanted, but I also didn't have the monies to buy tour t-shirts, band t-shirts. So I am going to be on the hunt for specific band t-shirts. I was super into Paramore back then, and I know Paramore isn't like touring anymore. At least I don't think they are. I know Hailey's doing her thing. I love Hailey so much. And it doesn't have to be Paramore, it could be any of the other bands that I really like, but I want to find ones that are cotton, not polyester. Again, I don't like things that like stretch out over time. I know cotton stretches, but it looks good as it ages. So I want to find cool, edgy band tees. And I feel like this section of style goes well with my current aesthetic. Like, I'm super into dark boho whimsigoth, and I feel like the two overlap pretty well. I've already worn my leather jacket with a few of my whimsigoth fits, and I felt like it went perfectly. And I was kind of dabbling a little bit in whimsigoth back then. My favorite earrings were these celestial sun earrings, and then I had a celestial sun and moon t-shirt that I got rid of that I hate myself for. That is it for clothes for now. Obviously, as I discover more things, I might add to my list, but we gotta move on to decor. And I didn't think I was gonna have that much on my decor list because I feel like my house is pretty adequately decorated. I moved with a lot of decor. There were a few furniture pieces we had to replace when we moved, but since then I have discovered some pieces that I need. First of all, we need curtains for our living room and our dining room. We have blinds, but I like the dramatic look, so I definitely wanna get some drapes. And for those, actually no, I don't need curtain rods. I'm looking through the window right now. I don't need curtain rods for those, but I also want to get some curtains to put in front of the French doors of my office because I need to try to soundproof this room better because I want to do more podcasting in 2026. I have some ideas, some things I would like to do, but unfortunately this room, all the sound from the house comes in here. Kitchen over here, someone's in the kitchen, I can hear everything. Someone's in the living room, can hear everything. I can even hear people through the vent. If you're downstairs, I can hear you through the vent. I hate it. Right now I'm installing some acoustic panels that are doing nothing, but you know, they're aesthetic. They look like bricks. So drapes, drapes, drapes. Lots of drapes. I might get some drapes too for in here so I can film during the day because natural light, okay, listen, I know natural light looks great on camera, but it shifts, especially when you have lots of clouds. Anyway, I'm shutting up. Next thing, I actually need a small bookcase to fit somewhere in my bedroom for my TBR. Books that aren't super aesthetic. I read a lot of nonfiction on my downtime. I read a lot of psychology, archaeology, whatever happens to be piquing my interest. Now, I typically will simultaneously listen to them on audiobook while I'm also going through the physical copy, so I don't always have the physical copies out, but at present, those specific books are in a pile in my closet, which is not good for the books. But I would like to get a bookcase to put in my bedroom so I don't have to, I don't have room on here anyways, but they're not aesthetic books, they're just information. So I need a bookcase, like just, it doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, I would prefer it to be pretty, but just something. And since I've been looking for one, I can't find one anywhere, Facebook Marketplace or the thrift stores. Speaking of furniture, I still need a small cabinet to put in that corner over there for my art supplies. I'm being very specific about what I want, which is why I haven't found anything yet. I don't want anything with drawers, maybe some drawers on the bottom, but I need it to be cabinetry because I have some really big sketchbooks that need to be stored in a specific way that won't fit in drawers. So I need like more of like an armoire, but it can't be too tall because I have floating shelves. Either of these pieces, I can whimsify them if I wanted to fit my aesthetic. So I can paint them. I can add some decoupage, tasteful decoupage, not your mom's shabby chic. Because I think I showed a piece of furniture in last year's video of a very beautiful decoupage that someone did of I think it might have been Waterhouse, but it might have been another pre-Raphaelite painting, but they put that on the front of either a dresser or an armoire. That I love. I've also seen people use decals of like starbursts and stuff, and there's one with like bugs. They might have hand painted that. I'll show what I'm thinking of right now. Beautiful dresser. Now this one was on my list last year, but I'm reiterating it because I have figured out a place to put it, and that is a big ass tapestry, specifically one that is like medieval fantasy core. So it could be a pre-Raphaelite painting. I've seen those. It could be one of the unicorn tapestries, any of those sorts. I might not thrift that. I might save up for one at the Colorado Ren Fair, but the place I'm gonna put it is actually in this room above my acoustic tiles. First of all, it'll look like a tavern and awesome because my acoustic tiles look like bricks, but also the tapestry itself will add more insulation and add more soundproofing for the wall. I have considered this in the past. I almost did a tapestry in my old apartment where I could hear my neighbor like texting and laughing because the walls were so thin. We were best friends though, so it was fine. I would text her and be like, shut up. This was years ago. Anyway, so I feel like a tapestry, especially if it's like a wide one that can like kind of come up down from the ceiling, that would be really cool. I'll show you guys what I mean. Hopefully by then I will have properly affixed the acoustic tiles because right now they're falling down. I have to use another adhesive. That's why I'm not gonna link them because the adhesion that they come with suck, and they all came down this morning and stuck to each other. Piss me off. That's my list. Whee! Obviously I'm always looking for books. I'm always looking for like cool bound books, Lord of the Rings copies, but I found that last year. I don't know if that was on my thrift list, but I found that. I need to go through last year's video and see what I found. I have a feeling it's not too much because I have very high expectations for what I end up finding at the thrift store, but we try to manifest. But anyways, let me know what you guys are looking for, what you're manifesting in 2026, because, you know, we can all use some whimsy. We can all use a win. I try not to look at my phone these days, if you've been wondering why I've been MIA, but it's inevitable. So anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. And if you're not, I really hope things get better. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out and thank you to my patrons and my channel members. Thank you for being patient with me as I upload inconsistently. This is also at my subscribers as well. It's January's been a January. So I appreciate you guys being patient with me and waiting for me to upload. I have a lot of things planned for the new year and things I want to do. It's just getting over this hump and other things, and I'm trying to, you know, do things. Anyway, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your month, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.